Have you ever actually stopped to wonder just how massive a single seed's potential can be? I mean, think about this. According to ancient Laotian legend, a giant pumpkin once served as literally a Noah's Ark to save humanity from a great flood. Crazy, right? But hey, you don't even need ancient myths to find giant pumpkins. Just recently, a Swiss gardener actually grew one weighing nearly a ton. A ton. The sheer scale of this plant it's absolutely incredible. And the best part? You hold that exact same potential right in the palm of your hand. So welcome to this explainer. I am beyond excited to guide you through this today. We're going to take all that dense agricultural science and those closely guarded expert gardener secrets and translate them into a highly actionable step-by-step roadmap just for you. Whether you're aiming for a massive, record-breaking showpiece or, just a really delicious autumn harvest for your porch, this explainer is going to empower you to grow pumpkins successfully right in your own backyard. Let's get into it. Here is our roadmap for today. We're looking at 1. Intro and soil preparation, 2. The planting process, 3. Watering and general care, 4. Pests and diseases, 5. Harvesting and storage, and finally, 6. Final thoughts and disclaimer. Okay, let's dive right into section 1, intro and soil preparation. Time to lay the groundwork. Now, before we actually get our hands dirty, let's take a quick second to celebrate why we're putting in all this effort. The pumpkin isn't just some, ornamental Halloween decoration. It is a total nutritional powerhouse. We're talking packed with beta-carotene, an entire alphabet of vitamins from A to K, plus essential minerals like magnesium and zinc. Basically, growing this crop means you're literally growing medicine that can boost your immunity and stabilize your metabolism. So yeah, the payoff here is huge. But to actually get that huge payoff, we've got to talk about what's happening underground, the invisible chemistry of your soil. It's like a giant puzzle. Think of EC, or electrical conductivity, as the strength of your fertilizer mix. If it's too high, your plants will suffer from salt stress and essentially burn up. Then on the other side, you have pH, which dictates the accessibility of those nutrients. You're aiming for a sweet spot, a pH between 5.5 and 7.0. If your pH is off, your pumpkin can literally starve while sitting in nutrient-rich soil. Why? Because the roots get locked out from absorbing crucial elements like iron and phosphorus. Balancing EC and pH, it's really just like balancing a recipe. So how exactly do we build that perfect recipe? Well, it takes a solid 2-season approach. In the autumn, you want to get in there and do a deep plow. We're talking about 30 to 35 centimeters down, and mix in some rich organic manure. This builds your foundation. Then fast forward to spring. You want to do a shallow milling, maybe 18 to 20 centimeters, and introduce ammonium nitrate. That gives the soil a massive nitrogen kickstart. Doing this creates a deeply airy, nutrient-dense home for those powerful pumpkin roots to spread out. Moving right along to section 2, the planting process, because timing and spacing are absolutely everything. Listen, you don't want to just toss a seed in the ground and hope for the best. The real pro trick here is to soak your seeds in warm water, around 30 degrees Celsius, for 10 to 12 hours before planting. This one little step guarantees much faster and way more uniform germination. After that, you've got to be patient. Wait for the soil to warm up past 13 degrees Celsius, which is usually around mid to late April. Seriously, do not rush this. Pumpkins are absolute heat lovers. If you time this right, those very first true leaves will emerge in under a month. Now, giving these guys room to run is absolutely crucial. Standard large varieties require massive spacing. We're talking 3 meters by 2 meters per plant. Pumpkins are incredibly aggressive growers. Their vines need serious real estate to capture all that sunlight and pull up enough moisture. So whatever you do, do not crowd them, or they'll just end up competing with each other and totally ruin your yield. Okay, here is a brilliant little hack that expert gardeners use to outsmart unpredictable spring weather. It's called staggered depth planting. When you go to plant a cluster of seeds, put some at the standard 2 to 3 centimeters deep. But then plant a couple of backups much deeper, like at 6 to 7 centimeters. If a sudden, sneaky late spring frost rolls in and kills your early sprouts, no problem. The deeper seeds will emerge a few days later, acting as a built-in insurance policy for your crop. How cool is that? All right, section 3, watering and general care. Let's talk about keeping these thirsty plants happy. Here's a mistake literally almost every beginner makes. You should never, ever water directly on the root or the base of the stem. Doing that is basically a one-way ticket to root rot. Instead, you want to water in a protective ring, about 10 centimeters away from the base of the plant. This is a game changer because it actually encourages the roots to stretch outward to find the moisture, creating a much stronger, wider root system while keeping that sensitive main stem nice and dry. And keep in mind, the amount of water they need changes dramatically as they grow. Early on, before the fruit sets, you want to aim for about 65 to 70% soil moisture. But once that plant starts intensely flowering and actually building the pumpkins, its water demands just dynamically spike. You need to push that soil moisture way up to 80 or 90%. If you withhold water during the fruiting stage, your pumpkins will simply just stop growing, and we definitely don't want that. Up next, Section 4, Pests and Diseases. Time to go on the defensive. So aphids absolutely love pumpkins. But hey, don't panic. You don't need harsh chemicals to fight them off. There are actually some highly accessible organic folk remedies from Bulgaria that you can use. Did you know you can literally spray cheap vodka directly on the leaves to kill aphids? It's true. Or you can boil hot peppers, let the water sit, and use that spicy concoction as a deterrent. Even soaking onion peels, garlic peels, or pine shoots in water creates these fantastic, entirely natural aphid repellents. You can absolutely win this fight using what's probably already sitting in your kitchen right now. Now, aside from bugs, your biggest enemies are fungal diseases, things like black mold and powdery mildew. And they look exactly like they sound, dark or white powdery spots covering your leaves. So the absolute crucial point here is prevention. These fungi, they just thrive on extreme temperature swings and excessive humidity. And this is exactly why we water the soil in a ring and never spray the leaves directly. Managing your watering effectively is for sure your best defense against these fungal threats. Which brings us to Section 5, Harvesting and Storage. Finally, reaping the rewards of all that hard work. By the time late September or October rolls around, your pumpkins are going to be ready. You want to harvest them manually, ideally right before the heavy autumn rains set in. This is super important to prevent them from rotting on the wet ground. If you followed all the steps we've talked about, your standard varieties will be tipping the scales at a beautifully heavy 8 to 10 kilograms per fruit. But wait, what if you want to grow a monster? For the really ambitious growers out there, here is the giant pumpkin strategy. First, you plant your seed directly on a literal mound of rich compost. Second, and honestly, this is the hardest part for beginners to do, you must aggressively prune your vines. You literally pinch off extra flowers to leave only one fruit on the entire plant. Finally, you hit it with liquid fertilizer every single week. By funneling 100% of the plant's massive energy into just that single showpiece, you are going to grow something truly legendary. Wrapping things up with Section 6, final thoughts and a quick disclaimer. It is so vital to remember that gardening is a highly localized science. The timing, the pest pressure, the soil chemistry, it's all going to vary based on your local microclimate and native soil conditions. So use this explainer as your master framework, but always adapt to your own backyard. And definitely consult your local agricultural extension services for region-specific advice. Nature is dynamic, right? And part of the fun is learning to really read and understand your specific environment. So you now have the exact blueprint. You know how to balance the soil, you know how to outsmart the frost, water perfectly, and fight off pests organically. With seeds packed with so much mythological potential and these proven scientific techniques ready to be deployed, what massive masterpiece are you going to grow in your garden this year? Get out there, get your hands dirty, and I will see you in the next explainer.